Hello and welcome into the Monday, March the 9th edition of the Bottom Line Lexington podcast. Locally, Kentucky Derby over the weekend. Nyquist is your winner. The favorite wins again, and that's the first time that the favorite has won in 4 straight years since 1972 through 75. There wasn't really a whole lot of buzz about this Derby, and you can tell the TV ratings, 14% lower viewership between this year and last year. And people say, oh, well, we didn't have American Pharaoh this year. Well, was Nyquist less respected than American Pharaoh? Actually, Nyquist's odds were lower than American Pharaoh's last year. And it was lower than California Chrome the previous year and former winner Big Brown. So it's not like Nyquist was a lightly regarded horse. Everybody was betting on this horse. Favorites came in 1, 2, 3, so you chalk pushers who don't like to take chances in life, congratulations. People like me, I took a bath on those underdogs. I think my horses are still running, or they're at the glue factory, one or the other. By the way, the best bet you can make every single year, and this happens, and don't do it, never do it until after the Derby and before the Preakness. The horse that wins the Derby, they'll always come out with odds. Will this horse win the Triple Crown? And this year, Nyquist is, yes, if he will win it, is plus 250, meaning if you put up $1, you'll get back your dollar and $2.50 if he wins, or no, minus 300. That means if you want to win $1, you have to put up 3 just to get your 3 back and then win another dollar. The best bet you can make every single year is bet the no after the Kentucky Derby, that the winning horse of the Derby wins the Triple Crown. Oh, but American Pharaoh won last year. Yeah, but that was the first horse that had won it in 37 years. So I would have cashed in 37 straight years of winning bets. I like my odds. I like my chances. Big fat no that Nyquist wins the Triple Crown. And if Nyquist goes on and wins the Preakness, double down on that same bet before the Belmont. Otherwise, not much going on locally. I read today where Richie Farmer is now bankrupt, unemployed, and living in his parents' basement after spending 27 months in jail for ripping off the state of Kentucky. Now, your opinion of him can be whatever you want it to be from the things he did in the past. Some people still love him because he played basketball. Some people hate him because he stole all that money, and it's fair. But for him to be on $194 of food stamps every month and his parents give him $400 a month, that's tough. They said his assets were $24,000 and his liabilities were $386,000. I guess I would declare bankruptcy too. Bottom line is, love him or hate him, Richie Farmer did some really bad things. And when you grow up in Kentucky and you're worshipped, as he was in this state, and believe me, he's about my age, I know how people in this state literally worship this kid. I'd have a false sense of entitlement too if I was that guy. And when that happens, that can lead to big trouble. And when you get elected to office for doing nothing other than playing basketball, and you've gotten away with everything you've ever wanted in your entire life, yeah, you can see this coming. Slow time of year for local news. It's still 4 months until football season. They came out today ranking college football teams in terms of attendance from last year. UK ranked 27th in average attendance per game. And that was more than Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, Oregon, West Virginia, Arizona, Stanford, North Carolina, and yes, Louisville. Just think if they were actually a good team, how many fans they would get. Reds yesterday, the Mother's Day special at Great American Ballpark. I think it was Star Wars weekend. I knew people who went up there dressed as all kinds of people. You guys need a life. God bless you, but your girlfriends and wives should leave you immediately and run for the hills. So Sunday afternoon, 2-hour rain delay, followed by an over 3-hour game. Makes for a very long day, a very long Mother's Day at the stadium. Typical Reds formula for losing. Reds lead 4-1 in the 5th. This time, John Lamb, who pitched the first 4 innings with only 1 run allowed, gets injured, and they have to go to the bullpen. And we all know what that means. Game over. The bullpen gave up 1 run in each of the next 4 innings, and the Brewers win the game. Here's a stat for you. The Reds have played 32 games this season. In 8 of those 32 games, they have led going to the 7th inning and ultimately lost the game. That's 25% of the games. Just think if they had split those 8 games. Because in theory, you've got over an 80% chance of winning the game when you have a lead going into the 7th. Just lost 4 of those 32 games. Just lost 4 of those 8. They'd be 17-15 right now, and we'd be hailing Brian Price as this genius mastermind. It's incredible. Bullpen ERA, Reds 6.59, Last in Major League Baseball. Who's next to last? San Diego Padres, 4.88. That's almost 2 runs difference. The Reds have 2 saves combined this year. And one of those saves was from J.J. Hoover, who thankfully and finally was sent down to the minor leagues over the weekend. Where's Kevin Gregg when you need him? So the Reds at 13-19 sit 12 games behind the Cubs, and we're not even into the middle of May yet. Good luck. Pirates coming into town for a 3-game set early this week. We'll have more on that game in our pick segment. And by the way, for those of you who are killing Joey Votto and his .229 batting average, let me just give you a little number. Zach Cozart's hitting .344 on the season, and as we said, Joey Votto's hitting .229. Zach Cozart has over 100 points better batting average. Who gets on base more? You guessed it, Joey Votto. Joey Votto leads the team in on-base percentage at .348. Zach Cozart's .347. So although Cozart is hitting the ball well, he never takes walks. He never gets on base anyway other than the base hit. And for a guy with a career average under .250, his streak of hitting .344 will not stay alive. As we said a week or two ago, if you have him in fantasy, dump him now. And if I could go out and get Joey Votto in fantasy, I would get him for anything I could, because if you look at his second half last year, his on-base percentage was .535 in the second half. That's worthy of Hall of Fame status. But still, Zach Cozart and Joey Votto can't come in the 7th inning and pitch out of the bullpen. Although at this point, why not try it? NBA, Cleveland beats the Hawks, sweep that series 4-0. Cleveland's scary right now because it looks like, especially numerically, they've adopted the we're going to shoot nothing but threes mentality. They hit 25 in Game 2. They hit 21 in Game 3. Cleveland is scary right now. And in the next round, they only have to play Toronto or Miami, who are still fighting it out just to get there. Cleveland gets a week to rest. Look out. Oklahoma City wins. That series with San Antonio now tied at 2. Spurs have home court advantage back, though. It's tough to see them losing one of their 2 home games in San Antonio. Dwyane Wade got some flack over the weekend because he was shooting warm-up jump shots while the Toronto Raptors were playing the Canadian national anthem. And then when he apologized, he goes third person. Dwyane Wade's not a bad person. Yeah. The bottom line doesn't like it when people use the third person. People don't remember this. The former LSU guard Chris Jackson, who turned into Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, used to sit on the bench during national anthems, and that caused a huge stir. That was during the mid-90s. He got a lot of flack from that. People didn't want to sign this kid because of that. And Dwyane Wade's even being more disrespectful. He's out there shooting the basketball. Just goes to show you, as we always say on the show, it's all about who you are. A guy with the name Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf can't get away with the same thing a guy named Dwyane Wade can. More NBA. Steph Curry, MVP of the league, and he does deserve it. In every way, shape, and form, he was the most valuable player in the NBA this past season. However, if you determine the word value, take Steph Curry off the Warriors. They're still winning games. Take LeBron James off the Cavs. They're a dumpster fire. Take LeBron off the Cavs right now. You don't have a team even in the playoffs. Look what happened to Cleveland when he left in 2010 after the decision to take his talents to South Beach. They went from perennial contender to getting the number 1 draft pick 3 out of 4 years. Curry may be the best player, but LeBron means more to his team. NFL, Sam Bradford has announced that he's going to surrender. I guess he's from France. He's going to surrender and come back to the Eagles today. Of course, that $12.5 million that he's due this season probably didn't have a whole lot to do with that. If I'm the Eagles, I'm finding any way possible to get Carson Wentz, the guy they just drafted, ready to start week 1. Adrian Peterson of the Vikings says, this year, we can win it all. Dude, have you seen your quarterback? It's Teddy Bridgewater. You can't win it all, bro. Peyton Manning is back in the news. I'm shocked that he couldn't keep his large ego out of the news for long. It's amazing to me, but I digress. He goes to Miami to quote-unquote help Ryan Tannehill learn his new offense. Really? You're going to Miami to help out of the goodness of your heart? Yet again, Peyton Manning, up to his old tricks, serving his own ego. There's something to it. Don't count him out for playing this year. His ego won't let him stay on the sidelines forever. Baseball. Bryce Harper of the Nationals sets a record, reaching base 7 times without an official at bat, further proving why he's the best player in baseball. But that's the Cubs walking him. Tanner Roark of the Nats came out and said, the Cubs are playing scared baseball. Oh, really? The Cubs just beat you 4 in a row, and they're playing scared? Maybe they see that the guy hitting behind Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, left 14 guys on base yesterday. Scared baseball? More like, we'd rather let Ryan Zimmerman beat us than Bryce Harper. That's just playing the game. And the Cubs now 24-6, off to a tremendous start. Best start since the Detroit Tigers in 1984, and their miraculous almost 35-5 start. But most of us are waiting for October when we know the Cubs will choke yet again. More baseball. Aroldis Chapman is back from his 30-day suspension from when the police report said he choked his girlfriend and fired 8 shots into the air. I guess that's only 30 days in Major League Baseball. But the Yankees need him. The Yankees are 11-18, and he'll go to the back of their bullpen. And the Yankees do have a pretty good bullpen with Andrew Miller and Betances. But like most teams, like the Reds, it's a matter of getting to that bullpen actually with a lead. Yankees stay out of it, they'll flip Chapman at the trade deadline because he's an unrestricted free agent next year. I'd like to see what the Yankees get for Chapman in July because the Reds didn't get a whole lot for Chapman over the winter. Big Fat Bartolo Colon hits a home run over the weekend off James Shields, who should be ashamed to show his face in public, and it took him 30 seconds to trot around the bases. Not because he was waving to the fans and gloating, it just took him that long because he couldn't run fast because he's fat. In 2012, Bartolo Colon was busted for PEDs. I didn't know they tested for gravy. No telling what he put into his big fat belly. Since his suspension, teams are on the hook for giving him over $30 million. And oh yeah, his suspension occurred in his 39-year-old season, which means the next time he played after his suspension, he was 40 years old. And he's made $30 million since his suspension. And he was 40 when he signed those contracts. It just goes to show you, PEDs is an investment. You can get busted, and it doesn't matter. You're still going to make your money. So why not do it anyway? More Penn State stuff, I guess. Stuff is the only word I can come up with. From the Joe Paterno, Jerry Sandusky cover-up, apparently going all the way back to 1971. And when all this comes out with documented evidence, of course, the Paterno family still fights to keep his name, still says the truth will come out. The most annoying part of this, other than the deeds, of course, that were done by Sandusky, the most annoying part of this is the Paterno family is still fighting this. It's over. It's obvious Joe Paterno knew everything that was going on. But why keep fighting? You're still fighting this. Jerry Sandusky's in jail for the rest of his life. Joe Paterno's been dead for a few years now. Let it go. If you're fighting over keeping his statue up for some reason, just give it up. Yes, it's a shame it all happened, but it happened. Just move on. And speaking of Penn State football, the school has agreed to start selling alcohol at games, but only to the high rollers who donate to the school with the high-priced seats. The kids in the end zones, who are making all the noise, will get nothing like it. Why did they do this? Well, Texas started this last year. They made almost $2 million off selling booze at games. Just wait till UK does that. Woo! Talk about a rise in attendance. There you go. But that stuff's not what I'm worried about the most. The New York Times today said that an average Facebook user spends 50 minutes a day, that's 50, 50 minutes a day on Facebook, whereas the average user spends 17 minutes a day exercising. There's 24 hours in a day. Most of us sleep about 8 hours. So you're spending 1/16 of your day on Facebook. By the way, how much of your day is spent actually talking to people? Probably less than 50 minutes. Sign of the times, baby. All right, our Mac Daddy Stogies are on fire. We went not 1, not 2, but 3-0 in our last podcast. So let's try to give you some more winners tonight. NBA, Toronto and Miami. Miami's a 5.5 favorite. Golden State, Portland. Golden State's 4.5 favorite. I think both favorites win and cover tonight, but these are not games that I will play out in Las Vegas. But if you're looking for a trend, so far in the playoffs, there have been 57 games. 38 have gone under the total. 19 have gone over the total. That's 66.7% if you're scoring at home. 38-19, the under in the NBA playoffs. Possibly something you might want to look at. Baseball tonight, Pittsburgh comes into Cincinnati to start a 3-game set. Jonathan Neese, 5.94 for the Pirates. Dan Straley, 3.56 for the Reds. Pittsburgh about a -115, -120. The Reds do offer some value tonight. Probably not a game that I'm going with, but they do offer value. If this is a night you want to take the Reds, like we crazily did last Thursday with Alfredo Simon, go ahead and go with the Reds tonight if you feel the urge. Games I'm really looking at, though, we got to go to the depths. Baltimore, Minnesota, Tyler Wilson. and his 3.04 ERA travel to Minnesota. Minnesota's 8-23 on the year. They've lost 5 in a row. These two teams also played back in April. Baltimore swept them 3 straight then. So how is Minnesota favored tonight when their pitcher, Juan Berrios, 6.75 ERA? Makes me wonder what the heck's going on. Baltimore comes in 18-12. Twins 8-23. I get the better pitcher, the better team, the rested bullpen. Give me Baltimore tonight. Arizona travels to Colorado. As we all know, anything can happen at Coors Field. Archie Bradley, with a 10.38 ERA, takes the hill for the Arizona Diamondbacks against Colorado, and Tyler Chitwood with a 2.15 ERA. Easy, right? Take Colorado. Wrong again. Take Arizona. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Bullpen's been rested after their starters went long innings. You're getting plus 125, plus 130. Colorado's no great shakes at home this year, 15-16 overall. Arizona 15-18 overall. I'm getting the better team on a winning streak. Give me Arizona. And if you're really looking for some action, Toronto traveling to San Francisco. Jake Peavy for the Giants, 9.00 ERA against Anibal Sanchez, 2.12 ERA. That's an easy pick. Toronto's got the better starting pitcher. San Francisco is tough at home no matter who starts. They're 12-6 on the year at home. Both teams around 500. Give me the home field advantage and the underdog. Give me getting about a plus 115, 120. Give me San Francisco over Toronto tonight. So your Mac Daddy Stogies tonight, Baltimore, Arizona, and San Francisco. Slight lean to the Reds if you feel the urge. And they're all, as always, contrarian underdogs. And that's it for the Monday, May 9th edition of the Bottom Line Lexington podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BottomLineLex. Look for us on Facebook, Bottom Line Lexington. Our website, BottomLineLexington.com. And please subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like to email us, BottomLineLex@gmail.com. That's it for today, and until next time, may the winners be yours.